Welcome to the Light and Dark podcast. I'm your host, Sam Renfro. In this podcast, we'll explore what it means to be fully human, embracing all aspects of the human experience, the light and the dark. We'll discuss all things health and wellness, spirituality, and everything in between. And I'll share all of the impactful tools and lessons that I've learned on this planet so far. The light is within you. Can you feel it? All right. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Light and Dark podcast. My name is Sam, and we have a very special episode today. So one of the things that I talk a lot about is water and the quality of water and hydration. It's a really big piece of what I do with my work in the fascia and in honestly just life in general. Hydration is just such a key. And so I want to introduce you to my dear friend Alayna, who has taught me, I would say, most of what I know about water. I mean, I had a background before of the do's and don'ts about hydration and water, but really you've taught me so much, and so this is an opportunity for me to be able to go a little bit deeper and provide something super valuable to my guests. So without further ado, Alayna, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been such an honor to even consider doing this with you and deepen this conversation. So my name is Alayna Nathe. I'm the owner and founder of True Source Waters, and we are a hydrogen water store based in Santa Cruz, California, providing free hydrogen water and education to our community.
Okay, beautiful. And so when you say community, this is a really big piece for me and from how I actually found you. And it's something I wanted to segue into a little bit later, but how has community impacted the way that you serve people, and how does the water come in? I just, when I stepped foot in your store the first time I met you, I didn't realize exactly what was happening. And I think a lot of people can feel like, whoa, this is more than just water.
Yeah, I really had no idea how impactful the community was going to be to this store. I had a vision to provide this hydrogen-rich water to people in my community. I had been associated with this company that makes the ionization systems, a company called Enagic from Japan, for almost 8 years. And I'd really kind of only been able to share this water with people in the online space. And it became very clear to me that I wanted to impact my local community. And the only way for me to be able to do that was to provide a free water program to our local residents. And so I did this. I'm an entrepreneur by trade, and I had this business model in mind. And when I opened up and started creating our free water model and providing free water for the community, the growth of our community vibe within the store was just the most pleasant surprise. I didn't really realize how deeply connected people would be in the store. It was a perk of building the business I didn't know that would evolve. But to me, it's almost as important as the products we sell and the water we provide is this community that we've created. It's just beautiful. Not only the connections and the support and the networking and the vibe that happens within the store, but we are building a community that's more educated and excited about their health and wellness and longevity through hydration.
Yeah, and I think it's such an important piece to consider when you're going into somewhere locally. It's like, especially with the program that you offer, the free water, to be able to try the water, feel it in your body and see how it goes. People are spending a lot of their time there. And for me, if I walk into somewhere and it just feels off, I'm like, I'm out. And the first time that I walked into your store, I wasn't even looking for water. Like I tell this story often. It's like I was coming for a specific type of blue bottle that you happened to sell, and it was like a rabbit hole chase from somebody I had seen. They had this amazing blue water bottle, and then I found out you were the only person that offered it locally in town. And so then I walked in, and I didn't want to mention this until later, but it was like one of the things that I loved. It was you didn't try to sell me on anything. It was like I walked in and I was like curious about what was happening, but I was kind of there for one thing, and I immediately had this like, don't try to sell me something. And then you kind of just helped me out in a really pure way where it was like service oriented. And I think that's the thing that people miss out a lot is just going straight to the selling point. And so I'm sure I'm not alone in that when people walk in and they're just like still trying to like figure out, orientate themselves, like what's happening here? Some people just come in and they just want their water and leave. And so, how do you maintain that balance between selling something to someone and offering them something that is really going to add value to their life?
Well, I think that sales is service, right? So like we are a service-based business, like you said, but at the end of the day, we're a business and we thrive and survive when we do make sales. We're obviously here to make a profit, but on some levels we operate like a nonprofit in terms of the service we provide, the education we provide, and we put that in the forefront. And it's totally authentic. Mm-hmm. It's not an act to get you into our program. It's not, it's real for me. Like I am genuine when I say, I want you to feel better in your body. I want you to live longer. I want you to get educated about this water. And I'm here to provide free water for you as long as you need it, as long as you agree to come to our education classes. And so when people come in, just like you, a lot of the time, especially when they've seen free water in an ad or something, they want to know what's the catch. They're skeptical. Yeah. They think there's got to be, okay, where's the hidden, again, what's the catch? I get that question all the time. And I always say the catch is you get to spend some time with me once a quarter learning about this water.
Yeah.
And so if people are willing to do that in exchange for endless amounts of antioxidant, literal life-changing water, then we've got a deal. And there is no catch. And if by chance one day you say, hey, I've had an incredible experience with this water. I can tell you 10 ways my life, my health has changed. I'm ready to purchase one of your systems. That's fantastic. That's like the dream business is when your customers come to you and tell you when and why they're ready to buy your product. And so for me, it's a business model that works. For a lot of other business owners, they shake their head at what I'm doing. They don't understand it. A few doors down, I've got a very successful local business, and he often pokes his head down the hallway at me and shakes his head. He says, I just don't get it. He says he sees people coming in and out all day, lined up for water. And he knows I'm not making, quote, a penny from those free water members. But what I am doing is connecting with them, checking in with them, giving them a space where they feel seen, heard, supported while they're potentially experiencing changes in their health. And that brings me more value at the end of the day when I go home and I share stories about people that came into the store, like kind souls that I met, that I connected with, and people that I know that genuinely are really, really embracing this water and learning from it. And like I said, to me, at the end of the day, that's worth all the sales in the world, because I know eventually when it's right for somebody, they will purchase a system.
Yeah, and it's like feeling that and knowing that that's the intention from you in the business, I feel like it's just such a beautiful way. I think that's really where we're moving, is like, how can I help you? And later on, if there's a transaction, like amazing, but it's a mutually beneficial thing. And I got, a chance to work with you for a couple months and really get the in and out of how it all works. And when people come back from the water classes, they're not like, oh, I had to spend like 2 hours of or an hour and a half of my life or whatever it is. Like, they're not mad. They're not like, it's just purely educational and inspiring, and I think that's like the really cool part is people can have their eyes opened in a way to see like, oh, like not only am I investing in my health by drinking this water, but I'm also like learning and growing with you. And so with that, what are some of the things that you talk about in the classes within the water? We haven't even talked about hydrogen water yet, so maybe in a nutshell, you can explain what hydrogen water is and how you found it and why you think it's beneficial.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk first about hydrogen water, what it is, and then we can definitely talk about the classes that we offer. So, molecular hydrogen water is water that has gone through, in this case, gone through an electrolysis process. We have ionization systems at our store that we sell, and we also use daily to fill people's water. And the water goes into the system. Electricity is applied to it in a way that splits the water into two streams. And the water is literally separated into an alkaline stream and an acidic stream. And through that electrolysis process and that splitting of the water, molecular hydrogen gas is created. And a lot of people, as soon as I start to say these words, they zone out and it feels like everything's going over their head. But when you understand the importance of molecular hydrogen, which is two hydrogen atoms bonded covalently, and has been shown now in almost 2,000 published medical studies to have health benefits that help with over 175 disease models, including things like Alzheimer's, rheumatoid arthritis, even cancer cell development. And so more and more studies are being shown in human studies versus just animal studies to have legitimate, serious reversal effects on illnesses and diseases. At its very core, molecular hydrogen daily helps provide cellular strength, antioxidant support, anti-inflammatory benefits, and it's something that we should all, if possible, begin consuming daily to enable our bodies to fight off illness and disease in the future. And so it's one of those things that you may not drink a glass and feel it's not like a rock star. It's not like, it's not like an energy drink. It's not meant to be a quick fix. It's a cellular health benefit product. Molecular hydrogen is also naturally produced in our lower GI, and our gut microbiome produces molecular hydrogen. And at the point that it's the most healthy and strong, we're producing the most molecular hydrogen is in infancy and toddlerhood, before we're introduced to a lot of processed foods and things that start to destroy and wear on our gut microbiome. So molecular hydrogen is just an incredible therapeutic gas that we are able to provide to our customers on a daily basis. It only lasts 1 to 2 days after you pour it from the machine in a closed container. So it's a very temporary state. And so most of our customers come back every 1 to 2 days to get fresh water. So it's one of those things that you definitely benefit even more from having a system in your home, because every glass of water you pour is going to have that fresh, highest content of molecular hydrogen.
Yeah, and it's something that I've experienced myself actually having the machine. Is just like having it fresh on tap. There's no other feeling like it. You're like, I'm literally drinking medicine and magic at the same time. Like it's just like one of those really cool feelings when you have it. You're like, oh, every sip that I get is just helping my body. But maybe one thing that I'm wondering, and some other people might be wondering, is when you have gas, like the molecular hydrogen gas in your water, what is like that correlation between liquid and gas, and what happens to it when it gets into your body?
So when it goes into your body, the molecular hydrogen, one, it's a gas and it's in water. So just like any other effervescence or gas that's in water, it's going to escape very quickly. And so that's why we want to keep the lid on. Unless you're just pouring yourself a glass to have at home, then go ahead and drink that within 10, 15, 20 minutes. But molecular hydrogen gas, it literally goes everywhere in your body immediately. Hydrogen is the smallest atom on the periodic table. And when you put two of those together, they are still the smallest molecular structure that exists. And so as soon as you consume molecular hydrogen, it crosses the blood-brain barrier. It goes into literally every cell in your body. It goes into your lower GI and your gut microbiome starts to heal. But it crosses your blood-brain barrier and is able to target and flush out a very specific cytotoxin called the hydroxyl radical. It's a free radical, or an ROS, which is a reactive oxygen species. And so molecular hydrogen is only designed to target and eradicate the hydroxyl radical. And so people may say, oh, well, if this is such a targeted antioxidant, shouldn't I take something that's more like a broad spectrum antioxidant? I'll tell you 2 reasons why hydrogen is such an effective targeted antioxidant and why it's important to get rid of this particular free radical. So sometimes you'll take an antioxidant, or you drink green tea, you eat blueberries, you take CoQ10, maybe acai. These are very large molecules that are a little bit more broad spectrum, but they're flushing a lot of free radicals from your body, some of which we really need for recovery. Not all free radicals are bad. They have a purpose. They serve a purpose, and I think a lot of us are trained to believe that all free radicals are damaging little critters that we need to get out of our body. The hydroxyl radical, its sole purpose is to go in and destroy your cell wall, the integrity and the strength of your cell wall. So if you're drinking an antioxidant that is eradicating this destructive, free radical that's trying to destroy the integrity of our cell wall, we're able to strengthen our cells. And when you're able to strengthen your cell, you're going to be less... When you're able to strengthen your cell wall, you're going to be less susceptible to illness, disease, damage to your cell. So, we hear about damaged DNA. So when you have illness, disease, cancer cells, and they start to replicate, then you can start to create this damaged DNA, and your damaged cells start to replicate. But if you're consuming something that is strengthening your cell wall, you're able to fight off illness, disease, and anything that's targeting your immune system. So, not to go too deep into this, but another powerful thing that happens with molecular hydrogen is that it goes right into the mitochondria and stimulates some activity within the mitochondria that enables the mitochondria to be more active. So it literally is feeding the mitochondria. Mitochondria love consuming or being stimulated by hydrogen. And so if you can be drinking this molecular hydrogen daily, you're feeding your mitochondria. Mitochondria are the energy centers of your cell. If you think about the little Energizer bunny beating his drum, to me, that's what mitochondria is. And if we can feed that little Energizer bunny daily with hydrogen, we're going to feel more energized while we're simultaneously fighting off illness and disease, reducing inflammation throughout our body so we're feeling better. It's just a sequence of incredible events that happen within your body, especially drinking this water over time.
Yeah, it's like I'm learning so much, and now I'm remembering why I wanted to have you on for an hour, so I could just steal some of your time. But it's really interesting to think about the difference between something that's going directly to your cells and then something like you mentioned, berries and, all these other antioxidants. It's like it's going to have to pass through all these different levels of digestion to just get some of the things that you actually need. And so it's one of the reasons that I love this water. And for me, it's like, you drink a glass at the store or at your house or, wherever you're getting it, and you feel it right away. At least for me, like I'm kind of a sensitive individual. And so in the beginning stages of it, it was like, whoa, okay, something's happening here, and I can feel my body's kind of adjusting, but it's also like very happy, and it's like, oh, I'm taking it all in, and it's doing what it needs to do, and I don't have to worry, and it's like, it just feels fuller, richer, smoother. It has a completely different like taste and texture, but not in a way that is like overbearing or too much. Like it's still water. It's just like the true essence of water. And so, yeah, it's amazing to be able to notice all the little ways in which your body is shifting and adapting when you start to get this water in your body. What have you noticed with it within your personal?
It's a great question. So I've been drinking the water since 2017. And so I noticed a lot of things right away And then over the years, many things. But right away, I noticed a distinct change in my digestion and elimination. So I'd always had issues, even from my late 20s, early 30s, with digestive issues. And so what I noticed is that this helped with regularity, this helped with bloating, this helped with all kinds of things with my lower GI, which just then makes you feel better in your whole life. Everything changes when all that's taken care of. But for me, over time, what I really noticed is that I was an athlete for most of my adult life. I surfed professionally, I did roller derby, I was always active at the gym, whatever I was doing, but I never got thirsty. I was one of those people that didn't like water, I didn't like the taste of water, didn't crave water. I knew about this book written in the maybe 80s or 90s called Your Body's Many Cries for Water. And in that book, it talks about how if you are actively craving salt or sugar all the time, that's really your body's signal that you are dehydrated, underhydrated. And so you should have a big glass of water or two before you go and you have a sweet or a salt. I constantly craved salt. I only ate savory foods. I was often overate, again, had issues with digestion. Until I found this water. This was the first water that I craved and consumed in large quantities, and I could not only stomach, but I love the taste of it because, as you mentioned, this just has such a different mouthfeel. It's full, it's a smooth water. It obviously is filtered well, and so there's none of that. If I could smell water, I don't know if you've ever gone to a restaurant and they serve you, and you can smell whether it's the cup or whether it's the water, but I could never even drink water from my refrigerator or from my tap, God forbid. But so I loved the feel and the smell and the flavor of this water, even though it has no smell and no flavor, right? But it hydrated me in a way that I had never really experienced as an adult athlete who was like, oh, this is what recovery feels like. This is what hydration feels like. And I often had ocular migraines. I would get ocular migraines probably once a month, where if anyone's ever had them listening, you know it starts with a bit of a kaleidoscope. It starts with a little bit of like a bright flicker off to the side, and then you get sort of this kaleidoscope starts to take over your vision. And it's very, very distracting, nauseating sometimes, not painful. But what I found is if I could just drink a large glass of this water, it would go away. That's how quickly this water hydrated me. And so it's like I found a solution for my migraines, found a solution for my digestion, and I was able to recover better after surfing, lifting weights. That's something I noticed too. Less soreness, better recovery, more endurance. I was into Spartan racing for a while, so I'd always bring this water. And so a lot of things I noticed as an athlete that helped with recovery, endurance. And then one major thing I would say I noticed that my immune system got even stronger. It always felt like I had a fairly strong immune system. But what I noticed is I would go 2 years without a cold, 8 years without the flu. I think I got a respiratory thing over the holidays, and that's the first time in 2 years since I opened the store that I had to miss a day at work, and I was kind of knocking on wood and bragging about that. But my immune system was much stronger having consumed this water regularly. And that's something that my customers will tell me too, once they get a machine in their home, especially if they have young kids that perhaps are always bringing home colds and flus and different viruses from school, that they'll say, hey, we went the whole year and the kids never brought a cold home. So their kids' immune systems are stronger. Those are just a few of the things that I've noticed. And I do think it helps with things like more vanity-based things. When you are consuming an antioxidant every day, you basically are strengthening your cells so they live longer. And that in the same token is the same as anti-aging. So antioxidant products are anti-aging products. And so I'm drinking an anti-aging water every day, which I believe helps with skin elasticity, the graying of hair, basically the longevity of your cell that's going to help you stay younger and more vital and vibrant for more years of your life.
So it's like we're living healthier, we're living longer, we're feeling better, and it's just like a win-win-win. And
Right.
it's crazy. I hadn't even, I mean, I've noticed it, but it's like I live a pretty clean lifestyle, and so you could chalk it up to this or that, but I haven't been like quote unquote sick. I don't even like to use that word, but I
Right.
haven't been fighting anything off at all for like a year and a half. Like since I've been drinking this water, especially in the last year that I've had a machine, it was like I've maybe felt a little tickle in my throat, and then it's like I'll go drink a glass of 11.5 or whatever, and it was like it's just gone. Like I just don't deal with that anymore. I never have been someone who called that at work, but especially now I'm like I'm not really doing that much. I take care of myself, but this water, yeah, it's great to kind of notice that. And so we can kind of segue into, like I just mentioned, the 11.5. So there's a world of other waters that you can have access to with the machine, and people come into the store all the time, and they're getting the cleaning water, and they're getting the beauty water and all these different waters. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. Yeah, so the machine is really multi-dimensional. It has so many uses. I call it a all-in-one low-tox sustainability system for your home. It makes a total of 7 different pH of water. So 3 of those are the drinking waters. They're also known as Kangen water, which in Japanese means return to origin. So the drinking waters, or the Kangen waters, are 8.5, 9, and 9.5 pH. And generally, we like to ease people into those 3 levels at the lower level first, so their body can adjust to drinking an antioxidant water. Once you've mastered the drinking water, we like to introduce the other waters that can be used for over 100 uses around your home and topically to improve your health and the sustainability of your home and reduce toxic cleaners and things like that are also shortening the lifespan of your cell. All this exposure to chemicals, toxins, parabens, all kinds of things in your home. So the machine makes a range of water from 2.5 pH all the way to 11.5. And the 2.5 is an incredible antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal. It kills germs within 30 seconds of contact. It is made with a push of the button on the machine, and it is also known as hypochlorous acid, which is an EPA and FDA recognized antibacterial. It's been used all over the world in hospitals. It's been used in lots of different factory situations, from produce to meat and poultry. It is such a powerful antibacterial, but it is completely water safe and food safe. So it's something that you can get at our store. It lasts about a week, and if its potency and efficacy to kill germs. But when you have a machine at home, you can just make a batch anytime you want to do cleaning, disinfecting, kill mold and mildew in the shower, or you can use it topically if you have cuts and scrapes, if you want to use it as an oral rinse or to whiten your teeth, if you have athlete's foot, if you have anything, acne or you can even just splash it on your face every day and it kills bacteria, takes away oils. And so it's a multi-use, incredibly gentle but powerful antibacterial. And then on the opposite end of that spectrum is the 11.5. The 11.5 is a very high mineral water, so it's super high alkaline. And the reason the way we get pH to go up, you may not know this, but pH goes up the more minerals are in the water. And so 11.5 has like the maximum amount of calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, all other natural minerals that are in our source water, our tap water, our groundwater, whatever you want to call it. And so we have this very concentrated mineral water. And when you put that over oil, grease, fats, lipids of any kind, it's going to break down those fats. And so you can use the 11.5 to rinse and soak vegetables that have come from, doesn't matter if it's the farmer's market or the supermarket, if it's organic or if it's, commercial, you want to soak your fruits and veggies to get waxes, dirt, oils, fingerprints, paraffins, bugs, anything that might be settled in on top of your fruits and veggies as they went from the field to your home. You can soak your fruits and veggies in there and so much stuff comes off. It's incredibly satisfying to witness, but you can also use the 11.5 to degrease all over your home, whether it's your stove top, your oven, your air fryer, or even high traffic areas of carpet. There's so many uses for it. My partner has actually cleaned the driveway from dirt and motor oil, and even cleaned the inside the engine bay of her truck with the 11.5. It's an incredibly potent degreaser. The final water the machine makes is a 6.0 beauty water. It's a really lovely, gentle facial toner that people use to tighten and brighten their skin on a daily basis. So those are just a few of the 100+ uses of the water from a single machine that would then subsequently eliminate the need for you to purchase all of the cleaning supplies needed to do all of those 100 things around the home.
Yeah, it is just, at the core, if you want to talk about health, like there's a number of different uses for the water. And of course, we just explored a lot of them. But like for me and my partner to not have, I don't think we have any cleaning products in the house anymore. Like maybe some lingering around as like a just in case that we never actually touch anymore. But it's like we don't buy laundry detergent. We don't buy like whatever. I'm trying to think of like bleach or Clorox or like whatever you use to spray your countertops. Like we just don't have it, and it gets you. Not only is it saving you, I don't know how many like hundreds or thousands of dollars a year, but it's like I live in a really pristine, clean environment, and my body is just so happy, and so it's so cool to be able to think about, oh wow, it's more than like. Water's kind of this thing that we take for granted. It's like the thing that we need for our bodies, but it's also the thing that we need for our toilets, and it's like the thing that we need for our, like everything. We like, how many times a day do you do dishes or rinse your hand? And you kind of start to take water for granted.
Water is life.
Yeah, and so it's really special. And one of the things that you mentioned was the minerals, and I talk a lot about this because I'm super passionate about the minerals and the correlation between hydration and the fascia, and just supporting all the body's systems. And we have these minerals that are so essential for our body. It's not just the calcium and the magnesium. It's not just the typical electrolytes that you would go to the store for or whatever. It's like you need a wide spectrum of minerals that the water mostly has already. Mm-hmm. And then on the other side of that, a lot of people are drinking this water that is just completely stripped of its minerals. Can you say a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest misnomers about the word purification when it comes to water is that that's a positive thing. So purified water is stripped and dead. It is so over-filtered that you've removed everything except the H2O molecule. And when your water has no minerals, water naturally wants to attract and pull minerals from nature as it's traveling through, aquifers, waterfalls, rivers, lakes. Water doesn't just end up in your sink and in your faucet and in your pipes. It comes from nature, from snow and rainfall, and it's naturally picking up minerals as it goes, and it's super absorbent. It wants to hold on to those things, and our bodies naturally want to absorb those things to support our blood balance and our electrolyte balance. And if you strip everything out of the water utilizing methods like distillation or reverse osmosis, you're starving your body of those minerals, in my personal opinion. There's lots of opinions out there about reverse osmosis and distilled water. But in my opinion, if you call your water purified, that is akin to calling it dead in terms of what it is providing your body. Distilled water is also known as deionized water. That means they've taken all of the ions out. And our water is known as ionized water. So our water is rich in ions, which actually does a nice energy exchange for your body. When you consume our water, it actually provides positive electrons for you, gives you energy. Our water also contains a negative millivolt charge because it's gone through an electrolysis process. So it's a true living water with a charge. A lot of people don't understand when they hear about a negative charge, because the way our minds are trained, that there's negative and positive. A negative charge is actually what your body needs to stimulate this electron exchange. And a negative charge is what the earth is giving off. Between 200 and say 400 negative millivolt charge is what the earth is giving off. And that's why we encourage people to take their shoes off and ground and put your feet in the earth, because you're receiving that negative charge. The ocean also has a negative charge, and it's full of salts and minerals. So your body really gets charged when you go in the ocean. Our water similarly has a negative millivolt charge between negative 200 and negative even 700 millivolts. And so the energy that your body receives, even on that cellular level, not even thinking about the molecular hydrogen, but just the ionic exchange, is really incredible in terms of a daily grounding experience for you. So sometimes people don't even realize that, but you're literally grounding with this water on a daily basis.
Wow. Yeah, I'm on a grounding mat right now. I didn't even tell you. I like plugged it into the grounding plug that's into my wall, and it's just like so crazy to think, oh yeah, like we're doing this all the time by drinking this water. And it was one of the things that started to turn on the light bulb for me, was both sides of what you just shared. It was like, oh, I've been drinking all of this water that I feel like I need to drink more and more and more of, when it's actually stripping me of the true minerals, the hydration. And a lot of people are going through this where they're carrying around like jugs of these plastic water bottles, and it's like, I don't, not to bag on anyone, my teachers in the fascial maneuvers in Human Garage, they talk about the plastic jug syndrome.
Yeah.
And it's like this epidemic of people who just think like, I need, tons and tons of water, but they don't actually look at the quality of the water. And water wants to be alive. Like, it's going, like you said, streams and river, it's pulling from any source that it can to be alive and to be full. And these minerals are so key. And then when you start to add in that component of like the positive and the positive and the negative electrons, it's like, I don't know, it's really opened me up to be like, wow, there's so much more happening in this human existence that I kind of realize. And if I can feel my body in a way where it's back to its true source, right, then it's like, oh, okay, then I can live in this society and still operate like a human should. And,
Right.
So yeah, it's really interesting to think about. Did you want to add anything else?
I was just going to say, I go to a large, very busy gym, and there are people that are incredibly dedicated to their fitness and their workout regime. And I know they're focused on their supplements and probably really focused on their meal prep and their macros, and they're paying attention to everything that goes in their mouth, but they're walking around with a gallon jug of distilled water or RO water. And it's one of those plastic sort of milk cartons. And I just wish that I could, insert what I know about water into my brain, because it's just as important, in my opinion, it's just as important as that food and that meal prep and the supplements that they're taking, because they're probably not even absorbing 50% of their supplements if they're taking it with a dead water. They're probably peeing out half of their water. They're not absorbing it. They're probably lacking in minerals. If they're drinking distilled water, they're probably dehydrated because it acts as a diuretic. It actually flushes water from your system. So I see that a lot. Like you said, it's that, what do they call it? The water bottle.
Plastic jug syndrome.
Plastic jug syndrome. And they just feel like, I got to get this gallon in, but it doesn't matter what kind of water it is. And so little by little, that's what I love about where we're at in the world, and why I open this story, even though for some, the business model, they weren't ready for it yet, or they still aren't. It's maybe cutting edge, but it's stepping into this world where we want to know more about the water we're drinking, and we want to start seeing the importance of it. And we're willing to come and get educated and do this sort of trial experiment. What happens if I go get fresh water from this well, from this water bar every 2 days, and how different will I feel? And so it really speaks to people that are open and ready to see changes and improvement. And I have people that come into my store that have been drinking some particular kinds of water, whether it's reverse osmosis from a system they have at home, or they've been filling up, excuse me, or they've been filling up at the distilled store down the street for years and saying, no matter how much I drink, I just don't feel hydrated. Why is that? And they've gone years like that. And instead of thinking maybe it's the water, they're thinking, oh, it could be all these other things with their health. Until they come in and they come back within a few weeks and say, one, I was so thirsty. I couldn't get enough of this water the first week. And now I'm finally feeling like, okay, my body is like, thank you. Feeling hydrated for the first time. I think that's the biggest shift people notice, is that they finally feel hydrated and taken care of by their water.
Which is like so special to be able to facilitate that. And obviously, like, you're not the one that's doing it. The water is doing it, their body is doing it, but it's like you get to see and purely interact and involve yourself in such a pure, impactful way where it's like their lives change, you know? And working at the store, I saw cancer patients and people with MS and all these illnesses that are like really strong and have taken a toll on their lives and their bodies. And then you have all the people on the other end of the spectrum that are just like, they don't even know why they're there, but they know that like somebody shared it with them or someone told them to come. And so I think what I wanted to ask was like, what caused you, or did you always want to help people?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's funny, I think back to a lot of my life, I'd always been very community focused. I was hard on myself sometimes because I felt like I really didn't have a grasp of like global politics, things that were bigger than my community. I couldn't wrap my brain around, and I said, I don't know. I understand, protecting my front porch. I understand protecting the people I love, educating the people I love. I understand wrapping my arms around my community, but I couldn't wrap my brain around some of the things that were going on around the world. And I used to be hard on myself about that. And then when it came to this specific business and my previous business, so back in the late 90s, I opened an all-women's surf shop that catered to a growing community of female surfers here in the Santa Cruz area. And that was a very similar community, people that felt seen, supported, connected with this community. And it grew, and people still have our sweatshirts, 30 years later. So I do think that I've always been community focused. And when I found this water, it was more for me at the time. I saw the systems, I saw the unit. I wanted to experience this water for myself, but very quickly, being the type of person that likes to share good information, I started deciding I wanted to share this with more and more people. And I took the global approach at first and shared this with people around the world using social media, using websites, using online sources to get the information out about this water. But it's so hard to have somebody experience this water via the internet. You can't. All you can do is maybe watch some clips and videos and data, and maybe have me send you some emails. And it's nothing like the experience of having people come into the store, drink the water for 2 weeks, 6 months, whatever it is, and then come back and share their experience with me. And so have I always wanted to help people? I mean, don't we all? Like, I think, isn't that intrinsic to us as humans? Hopefully, we want the people we love and care about to feel their best. And so this store was my opportunity to give something back to the community, while also, hopefully, as an entrepreneur, supporting me and my family. I mean, you get in business to support yourself. At the same time, I thought this was a fantastic way to have people experience the water that they couldn't through the online space.
And so, I was laughing a minute ago because you were talking about this like almost inability to like see this wide spectrum of the world that we live in, right? There's so much chaos and like really terrible things that are happening out in the world, and yet it feels like so far away that it's not important. It's just like it's not my corner of the world, and I got to utilize my skills and um, my person in a way that I can do some good, and I don't have to try to focus on something that is like halfway across the world. And I always felt that way, where it was like, I can't involve myself in politics. I can't involve my things in all these things that are just so outside my realm,
Yeah.
because one, it wouldn't be doing much people very much good, and on the other hand, it's like just not my path. I so applaud people that can do that, that have the drive to like go make a difference in the broader scale. But the more that I've come into my journey, I realize the best thing that we can do is help ourselves work on our own inner growth, and take care of our bodies as this vessel. And I think starting with your community is just so important. But for the people who aren't in Santa Cruz, or who are like, I'm really curious about this water and I want to know more, like, is there a way that you do help people from afar, and what kind of resources can people find if they want to?
Yeah, we have a pretty extensive social media page. So you can follow us on Instagram, and I've been creating content there for many years all about this water and the benefits of it. So you can take a deep dive onto our Instagram. Do you want me to share my handle for that?
Yeah, you can. I'll link it in the show
Awesome.
notes as
Great.
well.
So Sam will link that in later, but it's at True Source Waters, true_source_waters with an S. And then we also have a really great website where I've created a blog section, and that's got some great articles about the benefits of the water, uses of the water, and things like that. And I'm adding to that all the time. So those are two places that you can get your foot in the door, get some information, but also you can always reach out to me. Say, I heard you on the podcast. Reach out to me via email through my website, and then I can answer any questions that you have. You can also do exploratory searches online. And what I really recommend is that you search on websites like PubMed or Google Scholar and do research specifically around molecular hydrogen water, or even use the term electrolyzed reduced water. And you can search those terms in reference to its efficacy with any particular illness or disease that you want. What you'll find is a lot of incredible published medical studies about the efficacy of hydrogen water. And also, this water is also known as electrolyzed reduced water. That's another term for it. So those are two places that you can do some research on your own, and then you can reach out to me with specific questions.
Amazing. Yeah, and I don't want to take too much of your time, but I did want to kind of lead into, there's like this bit of people will try to go and search about hydrogen water, and they'll like find anything they can. And some people might already be completely familiar with hydrogen water. In some spaces it's kind of become this buzzword, and it's really making waves on the like social media and all across the internet. And one of the things that I have been asked a lot from people that I know is about these hydrogen water bottles. Mm-hmm. And so do you want to share anything about maybe what you know or don't know, and maybe the quality of the Enagic Conga machines versus having something that you can just carry with you?
Sure. Yeah, so there are multiple ways that you can get molecular hydrogen into your body, multiple delivery systems. And the Enagic ionization system is one that makes this hydrogen water on demand. The machines are built to last 25 plus years, 25 up to even 40 years if well maintained. So that's the ability to pour yourself a fresh glass or gallon of hydrogen water every single day for years, for literal pennies on the dollar over that 25 years. There are other delivery systems. Now, people have discovered the benefits of molecular hydrogen and thought, how can we make this more accessible and more affordable? So let's make some small portable versions of electrolysis systems, and so people can walk around making molecular hydrogen on tap. And so what happens is multifold with these walk-around bottles. Most of them get chucked into a drawer with all the other water bottles you have, and people forget to use them, don't use them. What happens is that you pour water, about 10 ounces, into one of these bottles. You press a button, and it takes anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes to make your 10 ounces of hydrogen water. And then you have to drink it within 10 to 12 minutes to get the benefits of the molecular hydrogen. It expires very quickly. These bottles are made with metal membranes at the bottom of them that are stimulated by electricity. So it is a chargeable bottle. So electricity is running through these metal plates, stimulating the water in a way that's creating molecular hydrogen. The problem is multifold, is these membranes conk out after about 30 or 40 uses. They typically burn out and need to be replaced, but there's no indicator for the consumer to know that this has happened. So you've got these burnt out dead metal plates that are still being stimulated by electricity. And oftentimes heavy metals are leaching into the water, especially if you're buying one on Amazon for $39.99. You get what you pay for. There are hydrogen bottles that cost up to $500+. They still have membranes that need to be replaced after 30 or 40 uses. Molecular hydrogen has become known in online circles and biohacking circles as one of the #1 current biohacks, cellular biohacks, to help with so many things that we talked about earlier. But what happens is that health influencers will jump on board and promote their own bottle, make their own bottle. And we've actually had a huge health influencer, Gary Brecka, who was promoting a bottle heavily for a little over a year, has come back on to his own podcast apologizing for promoting the hydrogen water bottles so heavily because they have this membrane failure and there's no way to replace the membrane, so you have to replace the $500 bottle. And he said, in his opinion, not the best option. In addition to that, what water are you putting in there? Are you pouring tap water in there? And then you are getting chlorine, you're getting PFAS, you're getting microplastics, you're getting all of the toxins that come in our tap water? Or are you putting water from your Dasani bottle in there? Then you're getting microplastics and carcinogens from your plastic bottle. Are you paying $3 a liter for the Mountain Valley spring water and putting that in there? At that point, you might as well get an ionization system. If you're paying $3.49 for a liter of Mountain Valley spring water, you might as well put that money towards an Enagic ionizer where you get this clean, filtered, hydrogen-rich water every single day on tap for the next 25 years. No more shopping for bottles. And so my issue around those hydrogen water bottles, as you hear, is multifold. They don't last. What water are you putting in them is imperative. And then, the quality of the water combination with the hydrogen, but also these amplified contaminants has led people to actually, harm themselves more. If you're electrolyzing chlorine and heavy metals, all of this is not great for your body. So that's a long answer to the question. I think they were trendy. I think they were something that will kind of come and go quickly in the marketplace and end up in most people's junk drawer with all their other water bottles that they have.
Yeah, I was asking because I was trying to tell my dad about hydrogen water, and he was like sending me all these different ads and websites, and he was like, "What do you think about this one?" And I'm like, "Well, on surface value, it looks great." And I'm like looking at the price tag, and I'm like, "Looks great," but it's just, I have an innate skeptic in me that wants to question things, and so it's kind of like, you really get what you pay for. Yep. And the more that I'm kind of like on this path, you start to look at your resources. And to your point, so many people are trying to invest into themselves, into their health, and they're trying to do something good that's going to like up level them. Right. But in the long run, it's like you have no idea the cause and effect aspect of what you're doing to your body unknowingly. And so, I was like politely trying to tell him like, yeah, that looks great. And like, how long has it been out? Like, what kind of quality parts or metals or what are the things that are inside the machine? And I love this about Enagic and about what you've shared with me is because this is, they've been around for so long and have done it right. And I don't have to worry. I don't have to like at all second guess myself like I do in a lot of other situations. And so, I think it's really special.
Yeah. And molecular hydrogen is just gaining in its notoriety in popularity and more in its mainstream awareness. And so you're going to see more and more products that produce molecular hydrogen for daily consumption. So just like you were telling your dad, you need to look at the source. How long have they been around? How often do you need to replace them? What is the quality of the metals and the different components that make up the units? And so you are going to see a lot of competitors. But what I love about Enagic is I feel like there's no real competitor, because regardless of whether or not you find something that replicates even the molecular hydrogen production temporarily, you can't replicate the fact that it makes all these other waters that you're simultaneously utilizing around your home, reducing toxins you're consuming. It's so multi-level and multi-useful. So there's really no comparison or nothing that could replace all the functions of the Enagic system. And we are a 52-year-old company. And we have been owned by the same man. He's 83 and he's been drinking this water for 30 years. And so, he's 83 and is still running this company on a daily basis, sharp as a tack, jet black hair. He's Okinawan, not a gray hair. And so it's just incredible to see when you create a product that is made with such quality, that it has such longevity and will continue making exactly what you purchased it for 25 plus years. There's literally nothing else in your home or in your kitchen that's going to last that long, from a dishwasher to a fridge to anything you're using as an appliance. Nothing's going to last that long and still work as well. So when people say, well, what about this? Or what do you think about this in terms of other hydrogen producing things? I say, I feel like nothing compares personally. Obviously, I'm jaded, but when I see people who still have their same machine, for example, Mr. Oshiro, who's the president of Enagic, still has his first machine and he uses that daily. He hasn't gotten another one. To me, that's the proof that this is the product that I want to recommend.
Yeah, and I think it's so important to have those examples and the background and even some of the science. It's I love this because we can dive into some of the science of it, what it's doing for your body, what's happening. And also there's this other side where it's you need to trust your gut too. And for me, when I saw this, like I said, I walked into a store not even wanting water. And then all of a sudden it was then I was going more and more, and then I was feeling it. And I'm again, someone who wants to know and feel things into my body, or else it's just all right, cool. But I felt it and I kept coming back and I was boom. And then all of a sudden the opportunity opened up where it was then I started working with you, and then at the same time then I met my partner, and then I moved in, and then I had a machine. Somehow it was I had set the goal, and I went to one of your classes. I was I'm gonna have this machine. I don't know how. I don't know the order or anything in the outside world and how it's going to happen. But then I had one in 3 months, 4 months. I think it's just cool. So if you start to pay attention to the little cues of what I share in this podcast a lot on how to trust your own intuition, that's part of it. Do your research. That's a huge part of it. And then, really ask yourself, is this something that would benefit me? And I think, for me, the answer is yes. For you, the answer is yes. And a lot of the people that you've worked with. But yeah, thank you for sharing and for educating us. And I just want to kind of finish off by asking, where do you see yourself going with this? And, we just entered a new year. So do you have some goals for 2026, or do you have a vision in the long term? It doesn't even have to be this year.
Yeah, we have huge goals. I want to see this water all over the United States. I would really love to see True Source Waters locations pop up in any city or town where people are conscious about their health, they're active, they are open and ready to learn about this water and take advantage of a free water model like this. And so I really am excited to find people that actually want to open these around the country. So I do have a licensee program where people can contact me and talk with me about the potential of opening their own True Source Waters wherever they are. And in addition to that, we're actually being featured on a nationally syndicated TV show this year that's on the Bloomberg network. And we're really excited to reach about 10 million people sharing our vision for what we're doing. That'll be coming in April. And just locally, I really want to focus on growing the business as much as we can locally, reaching as many families and helping as many people experience this water as possible, while also, bringing more people into not just the free water program, but obviously ownership of their systems when it's a fit for them. And we do want to focus on local businesses as well. That's a huge goal in 2026 specifically, is to find the first gym, the first restaurant, the first med spa, the first acupuncture clinic that wants to bring this water into their business to partner with us. And we have big plans to help, co-collaborate with those businesses to let people know that they can also get this water there. Our goal is to have this water everywhere, and that takes opening people's minds to the benefits of it. And they want then getting them to share the goal to share it with more people. So 2026 is just a launching point. I feel like we have massive expansion ahead of us, and we're super excited.
Yeah, it's so cool. Even just for the short year and a half that I've known you, it's like I've seen tremendous growth, and like you stepping on to be able to be a part of this TV series, and then be able to, I've already seen, a few different locations around Santa Cruz, around the area, have these, partner with you and be able to bring this water to their clients, their customers. And I think the more that we can share it, the more that the people that have the resources that can give this water out to the people who need it most. I think it's just like that's the way in which we shift the world, and again, like the aligned business model that you have, it's just like it's a win-win-win-win-win for everyone. So thank you for being here on this planet and sharing your light, and for giving people amazing water. And thanks for everyone who is listening and curious. And if you have any more questions, I will link your website, which is I didn't even mention your business is called True Source. We mentioned it a few times, kind of here and there. It's a local water store here in Santa Cruz. There's actually 2 now as part of your franchise, right?
Yes, we have a second location within Santa Cruz. Our website is truesourcewaters.co, C-O for collective. And again, my Instagram will be posted on the podcast links. Yeah, and I just really encourage, if you are local, if you're within a 40-mile radius, come and visit us. And I have people driving from far over, over in San Jose, Corralitos. I have people that come see us from 20, 40 miles away to get their water even once a week. So we'd love to meet you. If not, we'd love to hear from you via email and answer any questions you have.
Sweet. Thank you so much for coming on and for making this happen. I feel like this was rich in a lot of ways, and it's just it's exciting for me to see what's happening with it and to also be a part of it. And so, yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it's a fantastic connect with you, and have this conversation means a lot to me.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you. And for everyone out there, I hope you have a beautiful day, a beautiful week. This is going to be a powerful year for all of us. And if you want to upgrade your life, this is just one of the most beautiful ways that you can do that. So with that, I will leave you and have a beautiful day. Well, that was such a fun and nourishing and hydrating conversation with Alayna. She's such a wealth of knowledge and just such a wonderful human. And, I've really been looking forward to this conversation, to bringing her on the show, because she has so much to share with us. So if you resonated with it, if you're feeling like, wow, I really want to try this hydrogen water, please contact her, go to her website. If you want to even get a machine, if you're not local, like it really is something that has changed my life. And that's why this conversation was so cool, because I get to, in real time, reflect how it has been, how it's benefited me, and how I've seen my life and my body start to shift and change over time. So yeah, highly recommend the water, the machine, Alayna in general. So reach out to her. And if you liked this episode, I would love if you can leave a comment, leave a review, subscribe to the show. And then, if you have the means to support the podcast a little bit deeper, I would love if you could leave a donation. I will leave a link for the tip jar in the show notes, and it really just helps me be able to continue to do this, continue to bring this energy and this wisdom to the collective. And I think the more that we can do that, the more that we slowly start to, bring more awareness and awakening to the world. So everything that you do ripples out, everything that I do ripples out, and just even one small little one small act, or even just you listening to this, really helps things shift in the I'd say the right direction. So thank you so much, as always, with gratitude, sending you love, and talk soon.